Hello everyone, we are here at the Sundance Film Festival here in Park City, Utah. Really excited to be here for the premiere of soundtrack of A Coup d'Etat. And it's such an interesting title.
Sure.
I mean, it definitely is symbolic of what the story is about. It's interesting because we're involving music, which is kind of intertwined with a piece of history involving the government. So what made you take on a project like this, Johan?
Well, the point of departure was actually Nikita Khrushchev at the 15th General Assembly banging his shoe on his desk. And I never knew that was actually dealing with my own country's history, going back to the Congo, right? And so that's sort of a whole research that became sort of quite in depth. But stumbling onto, for example, also Max Roach and Abbie Lincoln crashing the Security Council in protest of the murder of Patrice Lumumba in 1961, which was my country and also the United States involved.
So this hits home a bit for you.
So it's a coup, and it's at the same time the music. So
it's very interesting, the story too, because we've got some very important and impactful individuals who were in Congo. Louis Armstrong specifically, didn't even have a clue about what was going on with the CIA.
Afterwards he did.
But he did afterwards.
Yeah. But yeah, indeed. So that soundtrack of a coup d'etat is also like the United States Department was sending out black jazz ambassadors to sort of whitewash or blackwash their sort of diplomacy to hide what actually was going on within the country, which segregation was still happening. But at the same time, while they were sending out the black jazz ambassadors, underneath the State Department was also, the CIA actually was planning a coup. So when Louis Armstrong was sent into the Congo, literally the CIA was plotting to overthrow Patrice Lumumba, not only overthrowing the democratically elected first premier, but also trying to assassinate him. And so you have this sort of...
a lot going on.
Yeah. It is, but yeah.
Also, I know that music plays such a huge influence in this film. I have seen a couple articles where you've actually said that it actually almost emulates an actor in a sense.
Well, yeah, we have like 4 protagonists. One is a Congolese writer, Nkoli Jean-Bofani. We have André Blouin, who's a freedom fighter whose memoirs has been incorporated, and her daughter, who was very much in collaboration with the making of this film, was very much involved and granted us 4 or 5 of the chapters of her memoirs going to be published this year again, or republished. Then we have Sergei Khrushchev, who donated all the audio recordings, and we have Conor Cruise O'Brien, who was the Irish representative to the United Nations, but then sent over to the Congo. But the 5th protagonist, I always say, is the music. And so while we have sort of, for me, it's also and this is a touchy subject because my country was heavily involved with sort of concocting several genocides, up from even 39 to 60 and then 61 and then 64. And while I sort of would say that, for example, Abbie Lincoln and Max Roach were performing their We Insist Freedom Now album, which is very much an activist sort of album in response to the apartheid regime and the Sharpeville massacre in South Africa. And while that was playing out on Belgian television, the genocide was happening in the Congo. So you have these 2 sides where there's this divide and conquer politics, but against that you have music that is actually as a political agent as well as trying to bring people together. And you have the joy of independence. You also have, it's not only the bebop and the jazz, but it's also the rumba. And the rumba goes back to Cuba, where a lot of the Congolese slaves that made up that population of Cuba were actually reinventing that music in this sort of global state of homelessness that comes back to Congo as the rumba. And the rumba is very much part of that celebratory moment of the independence. And also later on when Lumumba died, there's all these songs that were devoted to Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba, the first premier in the Congo.
Well, we're really excited to see your take on everything. I'm so excited. I'm a history buff, so love music as well, and love to see how the outcome of this is and how it affects the audience when they go to see this.
Thank you
so much.